You know what? We're going for this episode. No headphones, baby.
No fucking way.
No.
We're off.
We are unplugged. There is no plug.
Fix it in post, uncut. Fix it in post, 7 inches.
Why is it so quiet now?
There's no table to reflect sound back through a microphone.
Hold on, can you two talk? Colin, if you want to come in a little closer.
Well, here's the thing about Boba Fett is that he just can't help but being
too close.
He just can't help but being so sneezy.
I didn't take you as a big Sopranos fan.
Correct. I'm not a big Sopranos fan.
Then why do you have the Encyclopedia of North American Birds as featured in Season 1, Episode 1 of The Sopranos?
To burn. For me to poop on.
For me to poop on. Heyo.
Welcome back to Fix It in Post. We've got a special guest, Cicadas. A returning guest.
Cicadas, we are back in the OG studio.
Yeah, back in the original studio.
Yeah, we're having some work done on our current studio. We're making it even more fly for Dumb Nerd Nation. So don't worry, we're installing a vape lounge. We're installing a 7-Up pool.
They will not be reflected in the podcast, but we'll have a better quality of life.
A nap lounge where you can go and take naps.
Oh my god.
This just in, the nap lounge has been shut down for severe problems.
For sodomy.
Instant severe problems.
We haven't even used it.
Yeah, do you think people who work at Google actually play ping pong and go down those slides?
That's the thing. That's the current
They can make
stereotype.
pancakes whenever they want in the pancake.
The current stereotype is like, oh, our job is cool because we have PS2 and ping pong, and they're like, well, we just want free healthcare. We all know the joke, and I just said it if you didn't. So, but if you're at your job, when do you think it's okay to play ping pong? Like your boss.
Yeah, what? That's the thing is, yeah.
I'm sure you have a manager.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure whoever's playing ping pong, the manager's always like, oh, nice, you're using it. Yeah, that's like the
awesome.
4th time this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So where's...
You sure love ping pong.
Here's the thing. I feel like...
It's awesome that you can play this while you have those reports to do. It's so cool that you can just relax.
Or they say nothing the whole time, but then it's reflected exactly how many times you played ping pong when your boss is talking to you when you're fired.
Yeah, they've written everyone
There's
down.
a microchip.
They have it by the second.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
This isn't my job. You can just fuck wherever you want.
This just in, Jack Industries has closed due to severe problems instantly.
It's just an abundance of workplace sex.
An abundance of problems.
Yeah, it's just one of those places. A lot of sexy people having sex and not getting much work done.
Yeah, we weren't gonna get much done.
Picture this. Okay, a business where all you do is have sex.
Bro, how high were they when they came up with prostitution?
I'm asking for $25 million up front at 2%.
and you supply the women.
You supply the women, I supply the pod.
Hold on. Did you say the pod?
Hold on. If I'm supplying the pod and you're supplying the women,
what if I front the cost?
And who's flying the plane?
And which plane is that?
And who has the Netflix stand-up special?
Colin, you want to plug your Netflix special?
Yeah, it's called Common Sense. It ain't so common.
But who's buying?
It's a lot of did you ever notice stuff. Common Sense, but who's buying is awesome.
It's so good.
Wait, is sense spelled?
Or how about Colin Sense?
Yeah, we're getting away from the pun.
How about Colin Sense?
Or it's like Common Sense. Common is crossed out, and it's Colin in spray paint.
Yeah.
I think Common Sense would be the sequel to Common Sense. Like you come out with Common Sense,
but who's buying?
Buying? And it's it kind of is like a return to form for stand-up comedy. It brings back observational comedy is popular, and then you come up with Common Sense, and it just fucking bombs. It just bombs.
It's like a lot of lore.
And you're bombing on stage in the special.
They're booing me
so much that they can't cut it out.
They can't work around
and they're trying to
edit something about that.
There are no salvageable moments. It's all booze.
Okay. Let me run this by you. Can we? Oh, they still air it too. It's like they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
no.
I can't believe Netflix decided to air this, and then they pull it.
I don't know if this is gonna work, and we might have to cut all of this. But can we, the three of us, come up with like a stand-up bit, like a Jerry Seinfeld stand-up bit?
Oh,
certainly.
Well, we got okay. You just gotta look around. Candles. We got candles.
Okay.
So what's the deal with candles? We always have us buying things. How many times do you buy something that you just
set on fire?
Set on fire.
Okay, all right. I like where this is going.
What? I'm gonna go to the grocery store. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna burn this to a crisp later.
Okay, all right. I can hear Jerry Seinfeld right now.
Yeah, but everything else, you know, that doesn't even like cross your mind. And if you did, if you were like, oh, these paper towels, which one's gonna burn fastest?
Yeah.
You can't really say that to the mom next door in aisle 7. Am I right?
Yeah, this paper towel.
Hey, which one of these is gonna burn
Will
fastest?
smell a bit nicer when I burn it to nothing.
Yeah, when I decide that I am the decider of life and death of this. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to
okay.
That's what we're working on. We're workshopping it. There's two types of people that buy candles. There's people who buy candles
and pyromaniacs.
They set them aside and they light them to smelt the room. And there's people that buy candles to watch the flame burn all the way down.
Yeah. And all right. Let's throw in what's a catchphrase we can use during this.
I got him.
Nice.
I killed a fly.
It was the power of Thor.
Nice.
It's kind of okay.
That fucking killed my stand-up mojo.
Sorry. It was a very big fly. I saw it earlier.
Right, but it's also like.
I bought it for
this dude.
I bought it for the Korg figure.
I see.
It was cheaper than getting just the Korg figure.
That's fucking funny.
It was cheaper to buy Korg and Jeff Goldblum than just Korg.
I hate Jeff Goldblum.
I'm right there with you. I think he's super annoying, and I don't get his shtick, and I don't know why he's in.
He's
so
way
many
too
commercials.
aware of the meme.
I know, and it's just Jeff Goldblum is okay. Bear with me here.
I'm listening.
You may disagree, but I think Jeff Goldblum is like in the same vein as like Die Hard's my favorite Christmas movie. Isn't Jeff Goldblum like so like also guy. Like Bill Murray. Like Bill Murray worship, you know?
Oh yes, 100%.
So like it's the same thing. It's like Jeff Goldblum, like please don't ever change.
Yeah.
We came up with this character in college. Die Hard is my favorite Christmas movie, and we had a long-standing Epic Bacon Bro. Yeah, a long-standing list of like traits of the Die Hard is my favorite Christmas movie.
I'm gonna open this window, and I think it'll be better. Much worse sound. That's okay though.
What were some traits of the Die Hard? The most one I can think of is hates the word moist.
Oh yeah, hates moist.
This became larger than life.
Yeah,
this took on.
Like BoJack Horseman.
Yeah, that.
Or is that a different vein?
No.
Does Epic Bacon Bro like Parks and Rec?
Because this person evolves over time.
Yeah.
To be able to.
Yeah, and they're like depressive.
BoJack Horseman, I don't think it was a thing.
And they're like kind of like depressive, like late 20s era. They like BoJack Horseman a lot.
Because then you'll have like those BoJack Horseman like screenshots of like inspirational or depressing.
Everyone is gonna let you down someday.
You know.
And they gave birth to a ton of TV that's like, it's okay to be sad.
Well, I just am kind of overstimmed right now at this animal celebrity function. That's okay. You're allowed to be overstimmed.
And I mean,
we're getting away from the original point.
We're getting away from the original point, but I also want to clarify, there's a lot of times... I don't know why I want to clarify this, but I guess I want to say that I like BoJack Horseman as a show, especially the first few seasons.
Yeah,
a lot of times where we can criticize, we can make fun of something, for the way people enjoy it, not for the thing itself. You know what I mean?
Yes, for sure.
That show got
Die Hard's awesome. Die Hard's a fucking
that's true. No, that's what we're saying. Yeah, that's what we're saying. Yeah, all these things on their own are not bad things.
Yeah.
Like, a big burger with bacon on it, in theory isn't that bad.
Yeah.
But it's the going all in on it like we always say, you can't go full weeaboo. Which also is true.
People just gotta chill about things. Like, it would be totally fine if, like...
Just stop making like, things like your personality.
Yeah.
Like, come up with, like, an actual personality.
What I say is, in a perfect world, if someone is obsessed with, I don't know, fucking anything. If someone's obsessed with something as weird as, like, Tumblr. It's okay. I mean, it's not going to be great for you socially, but I have no problem with that people. What I do is when those people start getting aggressive. Because I like this thing.
Yeah, it starts to be like, this is the best thing.
I'm embarrassed that I like this thing. I'm preemptively embarrassed. Fuck you, because you were going to
And now I'm going to, like, double down on it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like people, like, I don't know.
I can think of a lot of people like that. It probably was no accident I picked Tumblr. But,
I see what you're saying.
yeah.
That's a pontificate on human nature.
Yeah,
Let's get back to the bits where we
the point is that candles,
I mean, you fill them up and where do they go?
fill them up and where do they go? Candles in the wind.
You free associating?
If candles are in the wind, they're probably
That
not
is
lit.
probably not a good thing.
Oh, this is
That's all I'm
continuing
saying.
the stand-up.
Yeah.
Oh, so I was calling you
like
out,
a candle in
but
the
you were
wind.
doing the right
Candle in
thing.
the wind
Fell for comedy.
is not lit up, so it's the same as a paperweight, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know the lyrics to Candle in the Wind. I don't know if that's part of the point.
It is. It seems to me you lived your life like a candle in the wind.
What is it?
She
What is
died
it?
young. It was
Oh.
Marilyn Monroe.
You were
Well, there you go.
you were chugging along, you were getting straight boogie with it.
That sounds like an awesome song.
Keep on chugging down the street like a candle in the wind.
I'm gonna listen to this, like, back, like, after it's out, and I'll be like, oh, that was the original point that I was trying to make. And I'll be screaming at myself, like, get that point! I do that a lot. I don't remember what the original point was.
Epic Bacon Bros, Die Hard.
Why are we talking about Epic Bacon Bros?
Jeff Goldblum. And what I wanted to say about Jeff
Thank
Goldblum
you.
is that
Nice.
recently on our Discord, which if you'd like to join the Discord, email dumbnerdthing@gmail.com. We do some movie nights on occasion, and recently we did a double feature of The Fly and Reanimator, and it was The Fly in the 80s.
That's a fly reanimator right there.
Which is a remake of the movie from the 50s. And in the 80s, it's Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis, and it's directed by David Cronenberg. And Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis have so much chemistry in such a short time. They got married right after filming and were married for 3 years after that, and then got divorced because it was that kind of passion, you know. And it totally comes across on screen. That movie rules. Jeff Goldblum's really good in it.
Could I watch it?
No.
Okay.
No, probably not.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
This
It's pretty
is what I
freaky.
want.
There's some
Did you
fucked
see
up.
Crimes of the Future?
Well,
Well, boy, did you. Here we go.
this is a prop bit. I have in my hand a piece of paper here, and this piece of paper is an Admit One courtesy pass to a local theater near here,
They fucking comped you?
where I went to see Crimes of the Future on a lowly Sunday afternoon. And in the past, I have watched movies such as Doctor Strange and $1 Million Baby and The Exorcist, all of which have standard surgery or hospital scenes. I know that sounds a bit weird because The Exorcist, but The Exorcist has a scene in that it is
Actually,
a
that
legitimate...
was not the one I was thinking of, but once you said it, I'm like, yeah, Doctor Strange does have a hospital.
It has a
few
legitimate,
hospital scenes.
normal hospital scene, which all of which caused me to either shut my eyes and look away, or leave the theater
That's right.
or room and splash water on my face before I passed out. But I love David Cronenberg. I love The Fly. I love Eastern Promises. Eastern Promises is one of his many works with Viggo Mortensen. Then I hear he has another body horror coming up. Crimes of the Future. Tagline. Surgery is the new sex. Okay, maybe a bit scary. Great tagline.
Yeah.
But maybe a bit concerning for me. I go to doesthedogdie.com, which is a great website for finding out what, like, triggering things are in a movie, because it does not only does it tell you if a dog dies in a movie, it tells you if there's a car crash, it tells you if there's, like, torture or, like, anything like that.
Yeah.
Including, are there any hospital scenes?
That's good.
That's awesome that they have that.
That's handy. That's like a great way to, like, you know,
disgusting freak shit, like weird.
Something tells me that's existed long before, like, the outrage over content warnings.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that's the thing is, like, you know, that's gonna exist completely, like, neutrally, and nobody's ever gonna, like, freak out. But that is what actually, like, content warning should be.
Yeah, that's a great resource.
So I was like, okay, there are no hospital scenes, I'll be fine. And I go see the movie. I'm a little nervous. The movie opens and it's got this, like, beautiful scene of, like, these two people living in a lighthouse, and it's like this, like, beautiful, disturbing sequence of events. No surgery involved, but just, like, disturbing stuff happens, like, action wise, and then, like, cuts to, like, Viggo Mortensen. He's, like, on this, like, chair made of flesh, and it's moving, and he's, like, all, like, because he's, like, all diseased. And they're, like, talking about, like, organ transplants, and they're talking about, like, people have evolved at this point in humanity to, like, no longer feel pain sometimes, like some people have. So they just conduct surgery on each other in the street, like, for fun.
Whoa.
And I stand up and walk out of the theater.
Absolutely.
And I go to the usher. I'm like, hey. Well, actually, no. I walk out. I'm like, okay, let me just, like, splash some water on my face or something. And I'm just, like, standing. I got my hand on, like, the trash can. I'm, like, looking around, trying to, like, center myself. And an usher, like, across the theater was like, bathroom's over there if you need it. I'm like, yeah, I know. Well,
the movie that disgusted patrons made them walk out.
I think I've fully, truly accepted and discovered that I have a phobia of surgery.
Yeah.
And
it's
they're
scary,
like,
dude. It's a fucking crazy-ass thing.
Oh, why did you go see this movie?
It's all surgery. That's all it is.
And I'm like, I thought I could handle it. And so then they're like, it's fine, we'll give you a comp ticket. So I got a comp ticket.
Very nice of them.
Very nice.
And they actually told me that they had to do it several times for people who went to see The Batman, because there's a car crash scene in it.
I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
That's probably more of a memory thing. You know what makes me... So I'm spent the whole time making fun of you, but you know what actually makes me feel that way?
Mm-hmm.
IVs.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, IVs make me just... I don't want to talk about it any more than this, but they make me not feel good.
Yeah. It's not even needles or anything like that. It's gauze. It's, like, hospital equipment. And yes, both my parents
That's what I was
work
gonna
in
say.
hospitals. Don't read into it.
There's nothing there.
Don't read into my past.
That's
Nothing
so
happened.
funny.
There's nothing
Yes,
wrong.
my dad would take me on weekends to the hospital to see how he worked and what he did.
This is the Simpsons bit where Marge is afraid of flying. And she goes to therapy, and she's like, you never talked about your father. She's like, well, you're going to make a big deal out of this. He was an airline pilot.
No, I'm sure it has nothing to do with it. It's fine.
See, okay.
Put the Marge saying Lowenstein clip right here.
Whenever the wind whistles through the leaves, I'll think Lowenstein. Lowenstein.
My name is Zweig.
Lowenstein.
And don't say, no, I'm going to put something else in. Fuck you. But the Marge, it's in the same episode.
My biggest thing.
I'm gonna put in. I'm not gonna put in anything. But if you happen to have any gas built up in your stomach that is suddenly released right now, that is embarrassing.
I don't know if I have anything
Indicating
like
it's from
the
the
hospital or anything. Something I'm, like, really, like, visually averse to. I really, but one thing I'm like.
It's gonna change tonight.
By this, like certainly, I think the freakiest thing in, like, you know, movies with violence or gore, the freakiest thing to me is, like, burning, like
really?
like being set on fire is like
Really? See, I would have no problem being set on fire.
no, like I know
Oh, that's pretty pussy of you. I gotta say. That's
no,
pretty,
like
really
no,
cringe.
like
that's
no,
pretty beta male. Of
no,
you.
it's like no, yeah, that's I don't know, that's like I or like another scene that's, like, really hard for me to watch is, like, the scene in Fight Club with, like, the acid on the hand where
Oh,
like he
yeah.
pours like the powder on his hand and like it starts burning his skin. You could see it like that. That shit was fucked up.
In grade school, we were talking about drugs. It was like not dare, but like a family life situation, and they talked about like what drugs were, and they talked about like needles, and like fluids passing through, and I all of a sudden I was like, I don't want to, like, this is kind of gross, and I looked up, and my teacher was standing over me, and everybody had left the room. And I was like, sorry, I'm fine. And she's like, you're not fine. You're sweating bullets and you're ghostly white.
That's so funny.
And I was like, I guess I got freaked out talking about like the drug stuff. And she was like, I'm so happy you told me that. And I was like, what? So how long was I out?
This child is the most anti-drug child, and then you get like a key to the city.
Relative to my social group, I probably am.
Wait, I have one thing after that. Tell me Joe Bob later. But first, I want to say that when
Bob later?
When I got one of my tattoos, I couldn't remember. You know how you're supposed to remember things and you don't remember if you're supposed to remember yes or no before them. You know, like, am I supposed to drink alcohol before this, or am I not supposed to drink alcohol before this?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if I was supposed to eat sugar or eat at all before getting a tattoo or not. You're supposed to.
It's surgery you're not supposed to eat.
Surgery you're not supposed to. Tattoos, yes, you need to have some sugar in your blood at least. So I was getting a tattoo.
This is not the one I went with you. Oh yeah, no, that was later.
And I was trying to tough through it, and I was like, oh, hey, can you give me a cup of water? He's like, yeah, sure, man. And he hands me a cup of water, and I go to drink it, and then he shakes me awake, and I'm like, what happened? He's like, you did not piss your pants. You did not piss your pants. And I'm like, what? He's like, and I look down and there's water all over me, and all my pants are so wet because I had gone to drink the water, and I had just like passed out and dropped the water on me. Oh my God. And his main concern was me waking up and thinking that I had pissed my pants.
That's funny. Well, if you lost control of your
that's funny.
Yeah, I totally could have. But it was just water on my pants, issue. And he gave me like a candy that I sucked on. It was like a long, thick candy that I was sucking on through the.
I was really in and out of it, so
I was really in and out of it, so I'm not really sure what happened. But
Joe Bob.
Point is, I went to see a double feature hosted by Joe Bob Briggs of Brain movies, like Brain.
Oh, like Charlie Kaufman, like
Charlie Kaufman
like
and Brain Damage,
adaptation,
and the Brain and the Man with the Screaming Brain and all that. But before that, he was like talking about the history of Brain movies, and he mentioned this one that like if my life was a cartoon, I would have shot out of my seat and my clothes would be remaining in my seat. It was reanimated. And it's the first Cartoon Network live action movie about a boy who's hit by a train at a fake Disney World it's called Dolly World. Yeah, he's hit by a train and his brain is replaced with the frozen brain of the founder of Dolly World,
oh, yeah, Disney.
And he then starts seeing cartoons everywhere. And this, I'm pretty sure it had something to do with this, because it's very silly when he gets hit by the train, but then he's carried into a hospital, and you're going to hate this, the mascots are then there's a funny joke where his friend is like, is he going to be okay? And one of the mascots takes off his head and is like, it's all right. Every mascot here is a trained doctor. And they all put on scrubs over their mascot costumes, and they're discussing doing brain surgery on this kid.
Oh my God!
See,
and then he goes to school and he's got gauze wrapped around his head, and I think just the concept of that freaked the fuck out of me as a child.
Oh my God!
Saw this?
I saw this as a child a lot.
Jesus!
I remember this. I completely shut it out from my head, and then he mentioned it, and it I saw the animated characters, I saw his face with the gauze wrapped around his head, and I was like, holy fuck! This is there's like, it's not all of it, but definitely part of it is connected to this.
Interesting.
So fucking freaky.
I haven't discussed on. I don't know if I've discussed on here. I have a very deep fear of mascots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When my dad took me to, see, we were looking at colleges, and I won't say the name of this university, but it was university. But the mascot was hugging everyone, and it was this blue blob, and it hugged me, and I I was fine. I was being brave. I was a senior in high school.
Brave soldier.
You're being a big boy.
Senior in high school, I forgot.
Yeah, we were looking at colleges.
Yeah.
I forgot about that part of the story.
Yeah.
And my dad was like...
He was no longer a virgin.
My dad, pulled me aside and was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I think I'm going to be fine as long as that doesn't happen again." When I got my first job teaching, the Chicago Bears mascot came to our school and did, a pep rally, and he, hugged the teacher and, pretended to, eat her head because it was a bear.
Yeah. And then he threw you in a garbage can.
No. I mean, I was white as a sheet. Everyone's
bro.
like, "Mister, you okay?" I'm like, "I don't want to talk about this." And so I told after, I was like, you guys, I don't know if you guys know this, I have a fear of I didn't like that at all. And they were like, "I never knew that about you." And I was like, "Yeah, no, I didn't put it in my job application."
Yeah, it's not really the first thing people...
And so we have a mascot. We
God.
had. I haven't worked there in years. And it would go to the classes and collect tickets that parents would donate for the auction. I'm making that up, but it was something stupid like that. And it was 8th graders who I know, who I am in charge of. And one of my teachers I worked with was like, "You are not allowed to go."
Damn.
Which would have, if you didn't say anything, there was a
Would've soldiered
50-50 shot that they would have come. And if they did, I would have soldiered on. But if you tell them not to come into my room, they're going to come into my room. And they're going to see why they're not supposed to be in there.
And they're not going to come into Mr. Collins' room anymore
Yeah.
after that. They're not going to go into a lot of rooms. They're going into one room, the hospital room.
That's funny. Anyway.
The waiting room of heaven.
Yeah, no, I mean, maybe I shouldn't be putting out my greatest weakness on air, but it's mascots. And
I call that a guowa in the casting business.
You know, have I ever told you about how I also have
Guowa.
What?
Greatest weakness on air. GWOA.
Guowa!
Guowa.
Nice.
In the podcasting industry.
Nice.
Industry, as I like to call it.
That you're not entirely alone in that, and that I too
No,
have
dude.
somewhat of a- It's very specific. though.
Okay. Here's the thing. I don't really know how I because I used to be I used to be really afraid of mascots too. Kind of in my youth. There's a famous picture that was on my grandmother's fridge, and it's of me and my family at Redacted Restaurant, and it was for Easter, and there was the Easter bunny there. It was in a big, giant, gaudy Easter body costume.
Oh yeah,
and
it freaked me
the fuck out so hard, and I was not having a good time at all. There's a famous picture. I had a plate of mashed potatoes in front of me. I put my face down in the mashed potatoes next to the Easter bunny, and everyone else is drinking and shit, and the Easter bunny's just standing there with the dead eyes, and my face is in my food. It was on my grandmother's fridge until the day she passed.
When I was 3, I'm pretty positive.
I definitely remember having a thing though of I did not like seeing.
My parents asked at Chuck E.
mascots
Cheese.
like that.
They asked him to stay away from me.
Nice.
They said this is the 3rd time. Stop going near him. No, they
They started to realize it was maybe a thing with the guy.
Charles, Charles, please put some pants on.
The guy in the suit had a thing for you.
Exactly. No, when I was 3, they hired Elmo
He's a cute
to
kid
come to
you
my
got.
birthday party.
Oh.
Not Muppet Elmo, who I would have
Man
been
Elmo.
over the moon for. Full-sized,
Real fucking real ass
larger
Elmo.
than my parents' Elmo.
Porn parody Elmo.
A 50-foot tall Elmo, wheeled in
guy-
like the Trojan horse.
Apparently, this guy was not all there. And he wouldn't leave.
Oh no.
My parents tried to get him to leave, and he wasn't getting it, and he stayed. And I hid in the bathroom the whole
Holy
time.
shit.
So that's probably what that is.
That's probably part of it.
That really drove it home. That was the final nail.
So my specific thing is
I have a fear that I wish to discuss.
there was we went to some I live in a small town, we had small town events, and went to like one like fancier one, and they had this like annually, and every year they had this group of, I don't know exactly what their like troop was, but I call them the big heads, because they had like normal human bodies.
Sounds like a thing that like your kid would come.
And then the mascot giant heads, and what they would do, I think, was have like one arm in there where their arm was, and then like maybe a fake arm, and then their other real arm was in the head, so that they could then take the head and shoot it towards you.
What?
Like,
that's horrible.
At arm's length, to make it look like they were like jerking their head towards you. And I don't know.
That's just scary.
It was terrifying.
What kid would
like absolutely terrifying?
What kid would like that?
And so I was like, roaming around the like, this like event, and it would like turn into like a fucking like video game with like a boss, that like an undefeatable boss, like a tyrant roaming around as I would like be on the other side, and I would watch to make sure they were on the other side so that I could hide away from them.
Yeah. You're in like the...
Just last Thanksgiving, this came up at the family Thanksgiving, and my mom decided to look them up and bring up a video and like showed Christine and my aunt the video of like what they look like to like show them, and like I felt like my entire body become like a single tense muscle.
Yeah. Someone at the Thanksgiving is like taking a video on their phone, and you're pissing your pants, and they like zoom in on it, like. Ends with.
I could have.
It's all in Spanish.
It's
like a point.
It ends with Christine and your mom being like, "Oh my God, are you pissing?"
You could have handed me a cereal bowl full of nails, and I would have eaten it just the same.
Yeah.